Okay, we
Right.
are live. Yay. Okay, hey Pila, hey girl. Okay, no, I need to let you know that you need to behave in the chat, please, because we have a guest, an important guest. Okay. And yes, but we're not here to talk about that. Okay. So
Although I do need to visit my island because I
listen,
haven't been there in months. I know it's roaches all up in that house.
listen. So I'm one of those people who I've only missed like a total of maybe 2 days of logging into
Mm.
Animal Crossing this entire time. Because
God bless you.
I don't know, like, no, don't get me wrong. It wasn't like I was logging in and doing it. It was like logging in. Let me see if there's anything new in the stores, and there wasn't. And so then I would just log off. But now I'm playing catch up because the update.
I don't. I know. I'm trying to like just
You,
leave it be where it is because I
because you're
heard there's a
busy.
bunch of new stuff
Yes,
and yeah.
and you're busy. And speaking of being
Hmm.
busy, hey y'all, welcome back to Mama Loves Manga, and welcome to a little chat with a dope ass person. And yes, you can curse on this channel. This is for adults.
Okay.
So feel free to say what you
All
need to
right.
say. But this is Steph. This is Stephanie Williams. The Stephanie Williams.
Not the.
I'm okay. I'm fangirling because I found out about you by accident.
Oh.
Through yeah, like through Twitter because like I am not hip. Okay, I'm not hip. Um, I'm not, and I
Oh.
want
Okay.
to say that because I had kind of I Twitter. I've had a weird relationship with Twitter, but I
Same.
want to say that I I started following Adrian Expression, okay,
Ah.
because my cousin like watches his videos or whatever.
Yeah.
This is like a couple years ago. Anyways, followed him and would see him interacting with your stuff because he's really into Marvel stuff, right?
Yeah.
And I would see your stuff and it was always a mess. And it was like my favorite cartoons from my childhood, like
Hmm.
X-Men and like Batman and all, you just and have like the most out of pocket
Hmm.
edits. And I was just like, who is this person? But I am oblivious, and I had no idea, and I'm embarrassed. But like I was just like, wow, this person was so funny. And I
Don't at
started
all be embarrassed for
interacting.
not.
Well,
Don't. It's just me.
I
It's
started
fine.
interacting with you like we were just like best friends. No, I had no idea. I need to put respect on your name.
No,
Yes, just with the memes.
I appreciate that, but no, I mean, I'm just I'm just on there like everybody
I
else.
mean,
Bored because I don't have nothing else to do.
right. So I guess since I said all that, go ahead and tell the people what you do because I didn't say any. I
What do
just
you?
gushed. So,
So, right now I am a comic writer, still getting used to saying that.
mhm,
Prior to that, and I still kind of do it now. Comic, pop culture, journalism.
mhm.
Although I am trying to like, keep that over there and
Yeah.
focus on the comic creations and other
Mhm,
stuff. But yeah, like I talk about comics, a lot of stuff within pop culture, but that's mainly been my thing since I've
mhm.
been active on Twitter. I used to have a podcast called the Misty Nice Uninformed Afro podcast, where we took like an academic approach at I don't know, like creating
Okay.
reading lists and talking about Black superheroines because you know, sure, you can name, folks you normally can name like Storm,
Mhm.
Amanda Waller, maybe Bumblebee if they were watching Teen
Yeah.
Titans. But that's it. And like, listen, that's fine. But the whole point of the podcast was to just say, like, hey, like these other characters do exist and come to get to know
Yes.
them. And that's it. It was really meant to be a thing that would hopefully introduce more folks to these characters and
Mhm.
just comics in general because I really love them. And
Yes.
the more folks that are reading, the better.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how that started.
So is that kind of what inspired you to do like your fan comics and things like that? Is that kind of like that idea? Because so I'm I'm thinking of I'm thinking of Living Heroes because when I tell you this gave me so much life, but like some of these are characters that a lot of them are characters that I personally was not aware of. I'm gonna
Yeah.
be honest, like I'm
No,
just
that's and listen, like that that is totally fine. It's okay. Like it's all right
Mhm,
to be unfamiliar with a character because one of the things while doing Misty Knight's Uninformed Afro, that was just always a repetitive thing when it comes to characters of color is that
mhm,
a lot of them sometimes don't have those solo series or they don't make enough appearances in books for you to kind of get a really good idea of who they are
mhm,
and
mhm,
what makes them do what they do outside of like their powers or whatever.
mhm.
So, um with Living Heroes, that was just a way for me to like outside of my writing is to kind of share like, research that flesh that out a little bit for some of
Mhm.
these characters where they're not in settings and having to deal with other white characters. Like it's just them
Yes.
together. These
Well,
women of color.
yeah.
I mean, well, these black women, and then She Hulk, a
Right. Who
white woman
is
of color, right? They're just kind of, just existing.
Yes, yes. See, I love that because I think because obviously I come like when it comes to comics, I'm coming from more of a manga standpoint because
Hmm.
when I was growing up, which I suspect we're I don't know. It's hard to tell ages. You could
I,
be my age, but you could also be like 20 years younger than me. So
I'm an '88 baby.
okay, okay,
So
we're in the same
yes.
age range, 86. Okay. So like when I was a youth,
Hmm.
and where I lived in a small town, and so like I didn't have access to like comics just a whole lot in
Yeah,
general. And especially like the ones that I did have access to is very like male like
of course.
the boys club.
Right.
So whenever like the first time I ever went to a Walden Books, I discovered manga, and it was very like inclusive. It felt
Mm-hmm.
more like inclusive of genders or whatever. So I've always gravitated toward that. But I will say that in the recent, like I would say in the past, like maybe 5 years or so, I've been
Mm-hmm.
getting into comics, especially because there have been more Black women visible because of like social media and stuff
Yeah.
in this industry, and it just makes me more interested in like your tweets and just like the comics that you like. It just I know I keep mentioning this, but like this is something that I would have never like been all that interested in reading like a superhero comic because I had internalized like what I thought like superhero comics
Yeah, of
were, right?
course. Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
so like your posts on like Twitter, and just like the like the stories that you share, but like the headcanons that you have,
Yeah.
hilarious, black as fuck. And and I'm like, wait a minute, do I like superheroes now? Am I wanting to get into this? Because it's just, I just love it. That was
Well,
me gushing. So,
I no, I love, but no, like I really love to hear that because I don't know, like my little crusade or whatever is to get folks to look at superhero comics hopefully a little bit differently than maybe they have in the past.
mhm,
Because what are you thinking of? You're thinking of the punching, the buildings being thrown and destroyed,
mhm,
these huge battles, and these teams of characters going up against villains and saving the world, blah, 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 blah. But
mhm,
it's all that stuff in the middle, the more quieter moments or the low stakes moments where I've always really enjoyed while reading these stories. Because that's where you really get to know these characters so that when they get to fighting each other or they're fighting a villain or something like that, I don't know, like sometimes those interactions mean more. What is it? Uncanny X-Men. I don't remember the exact issue number, but at this time, like Carol Danvers,
mhm,
who used to be Miss Marvel, she is now Captain Marvel. she was staying with the X-Men because of her incident with Rogue. So she was
Mm.
under the care of Charles Xavier while she was trying to rehabilitate herself. And she got close to them. She was going on missions. I think she even broke them into the Pentagon to like change their social security numbers. That's not actually what happened, but she did and helped them erase their files. So um, she was like, she was going around with the X-Men. So they
Mhm.
had like this close relationship. So one day Rogue shows up and Charles Xavier, being who he is like, okay, Rogue, come on in. And the team is so they talk, and then he comes out and tells the team like, Rogue is going to be under my care now. She'll be staying here, and everyone's like, have you lost your fucking mind? Like, like, have you not? We have beef. You know that we all have beef with her.
Mhm.
The very person who she, unfortunately harmed is here too.
Right.
So Carol shows up and she was already having a bad day. While Charles was able to help her recover her memory, she didn't have that emotional attachment to him. So when
Mm.
she goes to visit her parents, like she remembers them, but she doesn't remember that love or any of that. Like that's pretty terrible.
Right.
Yeah. So she shows up after visiting with her mom and kind of getting upset with that, sees Rogue there, and next thing you know is that Rogue gets knocked to outer space. And they
I
kind of
mean,
face off. Yeah, I mean, and rightfully so. And after the punching or whatever, Charles is like, enough. I've accepted Rogue. The rest of the team has, which really wasn't true, but whatever, Charles. So you also would need to forgive her. And Carol's like, no, like you can do that, but that is not on me. I'm not one of your X-Men, and like essentially flies off. And
mhm.
was the moment where Carol punched the shit out of Rogue amazing? Absolutely. But the even stronger moments is the confrontation between Carol and Charles, and also just Charles's handling of Rogue. That informs you on who these characters are, and it's important. Just
Mhm.
like when you read anything else, no matter the genre, those characteristics and what makes those characters who they are is essential to even how they use their powers,
Yep.
i.e., Peter fucking Parker.
Yep.
See,
I
if you, I will talk to you all day
I love
about why comics are great.
I love that so much. Well, because well, I'm sure this is like beating a dead horse. We all know this, that in general, comics are seen as like a lower form of
Mhm.
entertainment, or not, yeah, well, of
No, that's fair to
literature or
say
whatever,
that
yeah.
because. Mhm.
And it's so frustrating because I mean, I have been an avid reader my entire, like, from jump. Like as soon as I could read a word, like
Yeah.
I love to read novels, comics, all of it. And
Mhm.
I've gotten something out of all of it. I've learned so many amazing things, like about myself and about others, um through reading, and then like being curious, cuz like I feel like when the more you read, the more likely you are to be curious about
Yeah,
other people and other, you're just more open to learn. So I don't know, I just, any way that I can get people to read, I don't
that part.
see why comics, I don't, just because there's pictures, and also the work that goes into, okay, let me not, because I don't even work in the industry, but I have friends who have who do things in the industry, and it's just like, this is a lot. This
It
is
is
a
so
lot.
much. I
Yeah.
mean, God, it's a lot.
I
So
mean,
imagine, so like, all right, for instance, Newbie and the Amazons one came
mm,
out, what was it, October 19th.
bam, 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 bam.
Have been working on that since early this, wow, the early part of this year, which feels like 3 years
Mhm.
ago, but since I don't know, like March, April or whatever.
I feel like you've
So
been kind of
it's been a really
sly,
long
like
time,
on the
right?
sly, like, yeah.
So, months of hard work going into, an issue or two or whatever. And
Mhm.
then someone reads it and they're reading it within, 15, 20 minutes, maybe less. And I don't know, like and just thinking about that, just the production of art and how long it takes and how
Mm-hmm.
quickly it can be consumed.
Oh,
And often, I don't know, sometimes like if you're reading something so quickly or consuming something so quickly, then you don't
mm-hmm.
really get a chance to sit with it. We just all recently experienced what that was like to actually finally get a chance to sit with
Mm-hmm.
superhero media with WandaVision. I think that is why at the time when it aired, and it aired at a very specific and special moment,
Mm-hmm.
where we're not really getting serialized shows, streaming shows like that. Not
Mm-hmm.
like a weekly situation, and definitely not with superhero stuff, because usually you just can watch
It's
the
a
whole thing,
movie, yeah.
right? It's a
Mm-hmm.
movie. If it is a series, then you're probably watching something on the CW.
Mm-hmm.
The pacing is a little different, all of that, but we really haven't gotten that with Marvel. So, and especially on a character that we've seen a lot of, but we still don't really know at all. Because again,
Right.
we've only really seen her using her powers, the ramifications of her using it,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe some bits and pieces as to why she is the way that she is. And
Right.
apparently, paprika is too much for her, because it was like Vision. She has Vision when he was adding, I think, an Avenger, Age of Ultron. Anyway, or not Ultron.
Oh.
Yeah, Ultron, right? I don't know. All those movies blur together, so don't ask me.
No, yeah, because I'm like, listen, I'm that person who like I've seen most of the movies
Hmm.
mainly because I am the mother of two boys who happen to really like superhero stuff. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? And like, so I'm just like, yeah, I'll go and sit with y'all and like kind
yeah.
of like watch it. So like it's so interesting because most of my love of like the love of superheroes that I do have, it is more
Hmm.
nostalgic for like the 90s cartoons. Like,
Yeah.
and then I do enjoy the movies, but it's mainly like when I can go to a drive-in
Hmm.
and sit outside and eat tater twirls. Um
Oh, okay.
Listen, we have
I
a
mean, it
drive-in
sounds
in my
pretty.
town. It's
I have to.
wonderful. Yeah.
Okay.
But like I just here lately, like I said, I've been a lot more interested. Actually, I guess my interest was kind of peaked a little bit more with Black Panther, obviously, like
Yeah.
most
Hmm.
black folk like
Yeah. And also fair. I was like, listen,
like
as hype as everybody is for this can only mean great things.
mhm.
And it has been for that
It
character,
has.
because that well, the comic had already started, but then we've seen how far that's gone. They're in space
Mhm.
now and doing intergalactic things, and Black Panther is a character that almost everyone knows now,
Mhm.
and that's great.
Right. I
And
love
more
it.
opportunities have come for Black writers to
Mhm.
tell these stories, because it doesn't actually have to be, only a Black person can only write Black characters.
Right.
However, if they're there, then it is really nice if we're able to. There have
Yes.
been some really great stories being told on top of that.
Yeah. Yeah, I love to see it. Like again, so many black character like superheroes that I'm like, I've never heard of them.
Yeah.
And so it's like it's just it's just really neat to see. And I think about like young folks, like these kids getting to see and people will say it doesn't matter, but like because I know like you're also a mom and
Yeah,
it is amazing to like for
it
your kid to be
does.
like, "Oh, they look kind of like me," or like I don't know, it's
It,
heartwarming.
because also, like, it matters to them.
Mhm.
Um, I see it with my son all the time. What was it, like the first year of Blacktober? Because
Mm,
he's a huge Mario fan, so I saw a couple of redraws of Mario as Black characters, and
mhm.
when I showed him those, his eyes lit up.
Of course. He's like,
Does
"Wait."
right? Does he still love the original Mario? Absolutely,
Mhm.
but of course, it's just something extra special when you can see yourself.
Yeah.
Because that's who it's for anyway. I mean, I don't
It's
know.
for
It's
kids.
it's entertainment. I
Right.
just
It's not that. It's just like, come on, y'all.
it
It is
doesn't have
not.
to be that deep all the
It
time.
really does not.
No.
Um, Sorry, I'm like looking through here
Yeah.
to see if anyone has started asking questions, but it doesn't look like it. So I do. Speaking of
Hmm.
parenthood, okay. So I did remember that one of the first, like, as far as like your work goes,
Hmm.
I want to say that Parenthood Activate might have been the first of your works that I
Yes.
was introduced. Yes,
Yeah. Yeah.
yes. And I, okay. Because first of all, I love like that slice of life kind of like short, form of comics. Your child that your I feel like your child is similar to both of mine.
Absolutely,
Um
I'm sure.
just too smart for their own good,
Yes.
but like just seeing those stories, I want to see more of those. I want to see more, and I'm sure there's a lot that I'm sure there are plenty of like parenthood comics out there, but like with Black folks.
Yeah, or just a black mom, black dad. I mean, like,
Yes,
yes.
like
No,
yes,
I get it.
like
And that one,
ooh,
so the funny thing about
mhm,
Parenthood Activate is that really came because I was already kind of sharing some of those stories on Twitter via threads or
mhm,
whatever. And I still knew that I wanted to write comics. And I don't know, it just finally dawned on me like, hey, why don't you just do this instead of making a thread? Write the comic script and reach out to an artist and go about sharing the story that way. Because I don't know, like at that time, I'm like, tweets are fine.
right,
Um, memes are great. Going viral is what it is. But none of that stuff you can actually put on any type of portfolio, resume, or
mhm,
any of that. And I was like, if I would like to be in a position to really make comics in the way that I do, then I need to at least start somewhere. So that was my way to start.
mhm,
And what better way than to tell stories that I know that are near and dear because I'm living through them every single
yes.
day.
I'm a huge fan of I guess I don't want to say autobiographical, but just like when artists and when storytellers take from their actual lived experiences and
Hmm.
share I mean, obviously we don't get like all of the like, well, we get whatever y'all want to share, but I
Of
love when
course.
artists and like creatives do things like that
Hmm.
because no, I'm not even going to say because of the relatability aspect. Sometimes it's not relatable. It's because I'm nosy and I am curious about other people and I want to see how people live, I guess. And creative people are very interesting to me. And so I'm like, let me read these things to see a little bit of how this person's mind works and their life is. That's honestly the truth, is I'm just nosy. So
I mean, hey, and what better safe way to be nosy than
right?
reading?
Exactly, exactly. Um, Looks like. Oh, hey. Okay, I feel bad. I did not say hello to her whenever she popped in.
Oh,
Hey girl. So, how did you get started publishing your comics and web comics? Any platforms that you used, and how did you find artists to work with?
so for the webcomics, so just a story that I told. Actually, no, I'm running it back. So prior to that, I was working with Gray Williams, who is over at Make Studios. They were in the middle of still trying to develop a like this new comic world with these characters. One of them, their name was Braxton. She's supposed to be the superhero mom, and of course, duh, like why would I not want to write that? So I co-wrote that with another writer, Valerie Green, and we tried to get that kickstarted back in 2019, and the Kickstarter failed. So after that, of course, I was bummed out that that didn't happen,
Yeah.
and that is when the idea of Parenthood Activate finally, I don't know, like really came to the front of my mind,
Mhm.
and I thought of webcomics, which I have been getting into thanks to Lore of Olympus.
Yes.
So I was like, okay, this seems like instead of trying to get like a full issue done or like a graphic novel or something like that, one page, maybe that is something I can hopefully afford. So
Mm-hmm.
there was an artist that I had previously worked with. She was supposed to do the artwork for the third season of the podcast that I had, but the podcast went to shit because of a very long story.
It's okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
she was down after I pitched to her, like, what I was thinking and stuff. So we collaborated in that way. And then from there, O'Neill Jones, I saw that she had her commissions open. Then I just slid in her DMs with another webcomic idea I had for But What If Though.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just kind of how I began collaborating with artists was one, if you find one artist, chances are they follow some other artists. So just kind of
Mm-hmm.
going from there and checking out some folks' portfolios and pages and seeing whose commission was open and just kind of going from there. So it was me reaching out to artists, paying them for their work, and then
Mm-hmm.
posting on Webtoons as the primary site. Parenthood Activate, I had a website made for it and just kind of just, you know, going about it that way and posting on Twitter and Instagram. And it just kind of went from there.
Yeah.
Did I know what I was doing? No. Just kind of doing shit. It seemed like it made sense and it worked out.
Yeah. I mean, from my point of view, kind of looking in and kind of thinking back, I kind of did see a lot of this unfolding, like just like kind of observing it, like
Hmm.
because I started like following the artists who you worked with because I was like, well, I like their work, so I
Hmm.
want to support them, and
Hmm.
it just kind of it does, it's kind of like word of mouth and all of that stuff, and it's like
Yeah.
I might know, like, I'm gonna tell these people, and they're like, "Hey, that's cool," and it just kind of like, I don't know. I love it. Also, Black people, because
Yeah, like a little creative wildfire. And
yes,
then especially with Blacktober, that was
hmm
just the best thing that could ever happen because now you have a tag, and there's often tags on Twitter anyway where you can go through and find artists to potentially work with. That is the great thing about social media is connecting folks that you would probably never meet in your day to day life.
hmm yes,
Yes.
like it goes like yes,
Yes.
like so, and do not apologize for asking. I'm glad that
Oh no,
you're
don't ever apologize.
asking.
Listen, I know writing this book for DC, you know, it's cute, it's great, but
hmm
I try to tell folks like I'm still willing to give whatever information I can because I don't want to be, not that I am the only one here, but like, the whole point of being in these spaces is to hopefully be able to reach back and bring somebody else through
Yeah,
the door, or if anything, encourage them to go out and do their own thing because
yes,
we all deserve to tap into whatever our creative outlets are, whatever brings us joy, and to go after those things. So please don't ever apologize for asking. I'd be more than happy to share.
yes. I love that. Um, ooh, okay. The recent convention, you paneled at. Wait, was that the first time he's been to a con? Aw.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I
so
remember that tweet. Okay.
so no, that is not his first con. His first con was Dragon Con, which went terribly wrong for all of us involved because we were woefully unprepared to go to a con with, was he one? I think he wasn't even one yet.
Oh,
No, he was maybe 9 months or something like that.
brave,
So
brave.
we're at Dragon Con. It's already like a million people there. Got the stroller. So you go to a con, you want to talk about accessibility, it is it is terrible.
I can only
So just
imagine.
imagine trying to just get through the crowds and stuff. So it was awful. I think we stayed maybe 2 or 3 hours before I was like, no, we got to go back to the hotel. And I would like some heroes because the whole point of also coming to Atlanta is to enjoy this one Chicago restaurant that is down here and available. So, no,
Oh,
that wasn't his first con. Dragon Con was, but Heroes Con was the second, which was the bigger version of the one from this past weekend. So he is not a newbie, but
Mhm.
we've gotten better. We're going to cons with the kid. But that first
Mhm.
time, a fool's errand.
Well, let me tell you, to this day, I'm trying to think of what crowded thing I've taken my children to. But I think now my husband has, because the way my anxiety is set up, I can't.
Yeah,
I
no, it's
cannot.
terrible.
I
I
can't
don't
even
even
take
like
them to the grocery
managing
store.
myself, right?
Right? Just like I don't even. Okay, okay. You have a question? What's your question? I'm just. What's your question? Go ahead and ask it. But know that I'm looking, because I don't know, something about your username and the way that you're telling me you have a question, you haven't asked it yet.
Hmm.
I'm looking, but go ahead. Go ahead and ask the question. Okay, see, I knew it.
It was something ignorant.
I knew it was gonna be something. Okay, I'm kind of curious, but I should block you because I already know it's gonna be some BS. So thanks. Okay, you know what? Thanks for the compliment. We know we're beautiful. I'm gonna block you because oops, how do I do this? How do I block people?
I listen.
Yeah, okay. We don't want it, sir. Okay. Oh my God. Did I not just block you? Okay, did you notice? Okay, wow. Is this still visible? Is that
No,
still
I can't see anything.
okay, good, because wow. I knew
Listen,
my
it's
intuition
always,
my intuition was like
always.
every time. Okay.
We stay
Anyway.
ready so that we don't have to get ready because it is always a
Yes.
thing.
Yes. Let me tell you. Ooh, another question. Okay. Oh, and hi. It's so good to see you. Okay. Oh.
Any tips for scripting? Yes. All right. So one that I've recently learned that has been a huge help, and it's because it's my first time doing something that is longer form in a series, is a page by page. So so sometimes you'll have like your summary, your outline. So instead of I don't know, I think of this as a like a further breakdown of an outline where you
Okay.
go page by page and write out like a sentence or two of what is supposed to be on that page, which
Hmm.
has been a huge help to me because I'll usually put in what I'm thinking for like panel ideas and what's supposed to be going on tonally in the conversation. Because something I've also learned is, let's say, I don't know, you're writing your script and the dialogue, you just don't have it figured out yet. Some dialogue doesn't come to you until you've seen the art. If you put in your page by page, like what you were thinking emotionally was supposed to be said, or, you know, what are you trying to get to by the end of this page, then that's a huge help. So that when it's time to come to do the letter pass, you're not getting ready to bang your head against the computer because you cannot
Right.
remember 2 months ago what
What
it was
you
that you wanted to put. A very hard lesson learned. I yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Just
Yeah,
like
it
the
was
thought of that.
terrible. Yeah.
Oh no. And the way my brain's set up, I be forget.
I'm trying to think of what else. So if you're scripting, remember that your writer is not a spectator. Like, I mean, not your writer, your artist isn't a spectator.
Okay.
Your artist is the person who is supposed to be, I don't have a full, like a full idea of what it is that you want these panels to convey. That's really
Hmm.
important, because if you write it as though they are a spectator, then when you get the thumbnails or the final art, you're going to be wondering like, okay, well, this isn't really what I was going for. But yeah,
Hmm.
because you didn't say, exactly what it was that you wanted. Now, is that going to be left up to interpretation by your artist? Absolutely. But there's a difference in giving just enough information, thinking of it in terms of the reader,
Hmm.
versus giving enough information for an artist to, have the best chance of
Yeah.
being able to do their job.
Right. Or to like be in your head as much as they
Yeah.
can. Because
Hmm.
obviously, you
That's
know,
important.
that's a hard part about working with other people or collaborate. It's like you have to, you really have to be clear, and like you have to know what you
Yeah,
want, because they
communication.
can't read your mind.
No,
I
they
can see that.
can't.
I can see that. I can definitely see. Yeah, that oof. I This is what I'm saying. Making a comic, it's like,
There's a
if
lot.
anyone wants to say anything negative to my face about comics, they're getting chopped immediately, because teamwork makes the dream work. And
Teamwork really does make the dream work. It needs to be, just, I mean, honestly, a well-oiled machine just to make
mhm.
a mediocre comic. So, I mean, a lot of work goes
Listen,
into it.
I love that. Just to make a meet listen, and there are so
Yeah.
many, and that's not even shade, because like some things be mediocre, but that's okay. Okay, so Steph, what character or what team of comics folks do you want to write next? That was so cute. That was really cute.
Um, so I would love to head back over to Marvel to write a Monica Rambeau. Yeah, I'll take a mini series. It's just let me get one arc. I'm fine. I also love aliens, and I also love those comics and those novels. So I would love to maybe marry the two. Monica versus Xenomorphs sounds like a good time to me. Uh, Very obvious, and I know I don't need to tell anybody this, but anything X-Men related,
Mhm.
because yeah,
I really
uh,
need it. I need
yeah.
it. I need this for you.
And like, let me, Tales of Krakow. I mean, not Krakow, Jesus. That is a long running joke between a friend and I.
You just well,
But it's
thankfully
Krakoa.
nobody.
I just call it Krakow. And it's not even spelled that way. Uh but Tales of Krakoa. And then back over in the DC side, I would love to write Big Barda. The Furies as well. They can come, but Big Barda.
Okay, okay, okay. See. Honestly, I'm gonna support whatever you do.
I appreciate that.
So I'm like here for. Listen, I be manifesting.
I'll write along.
Listen, I tell my friends all the time. I'm like, I be manifesting stuff for y'all, and y'all
You
don't even
don't even
thank
know it.
me. You don't even know it, because I do it on the sly. Oh my gosh. So, does anyone else have any questions? Because I mean, I feel like Steph and I honestly could sit here and just like talk about.
Absolutely. We haven't even talked about anything
We
like anime.
we haven't
Any
even talked about like manga or anything. This has been
no.
like such a full. So, unless anyone like, if no one has any specific questions about Steph and her work, we are going to use the rest of this time to talk about manga. Because this is the sit down and read your manga, live stream or whatever. And so I would like to remind you of a time when I was fangirling because you slid into my DMs to ask me for smutty
Yes, of course.
recommendations.
Because
And
listen, so um I don't like so romance novels are something that's like near and dear to my heart. And black romance novels to be very, very specific.
Mhm, mhm,
I'm
mhm.
sorry, I do not give a damn
It's
about
okay.
what anybody else is doing.
The
So
Highlanders, them.
no, I don't. I don't care. Um, so in that, sometimes there's some smut. And uh, comics, do we have some smut available? Absolutely. Do we need
Yeah.
more? Yes.
Yes.
And I tried to sneak some into Nubia and the Amazon, so we'll
I can't.
see.
I can't.
But I slid into your DMs because I mean, what do you do when you're unfamiliar with something? You go to the
Yeah.
person who knows the
I
thing.
mean, that's fair. You know, it's one thing that I will say that I really would like to see, and I'm sure there are some people out there. I would like to see more um black artists doing hentai inspired smut, because there's a black artist doing smut. Like I
Yeah.
see, like I see them.
I all the time on my timeline
Yes,
freely. I see it
I
all the time.
see them
And I
and I
appreciate
follow
every
them.
single one of you.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. But like I I like I just really like the general like
Mhm.
that hentai art style that you I mean there's different styles, but obviously
Yes.
there's
Because
some
I've stumbled
right.
upon some
There's
things and I was like, wow,
yeah.
backing up out the store.
Yeah.
How do I delete? Do I need to nuke my computer?
Are they
I
gonna
didn't
come? Is FBI gonna come find me?
And I didn't
But
want to take that risk. So that's why I hit you up that day. I was like, let me ask, like,
yes,
I need exact names. I don't want
yes.
to go
I mean,
Googling anything.
yes. I
Anything.
sent you a little video of my favorite. The thing that I love about manga is that like it's black and white. So like
Mm-hmm.
there's since there's no color, I can kind of pretend that the characters are whatever color I want them to be. It doesn't matter if it's set in Japan.
It's just,
They're
yeah.
black in my head. See somebody's gonna take that and I'm gonna get
Of
canceled or
course, you
whatever.
will. Yes, you'll be the main
Whatever.
character by 7 p.m. tonight.
I mean, TBH, I am the main character
But no,
all
like,
the time.
but no, I completely agree with you. Because clearly there's an audience for it.
Mhm.
Also, if anybody knows of any Black artists that are doing that,
Yes,
please pass
please,
along that
please,
information.
because that's something that I have not like, and I be looking
Uh
for
huh.
hentai or hentai and stuff. Like I be looking, I don't see it. Um, so someone please hook us up. But so what I would like to ask is, were any of those recommendations interesting enough for you to look at them? Like,
Yes. Of course. I mean, I wasn't gonna waste your time. I was gonna
people be
look
wasting
either
my time
way.
all the time.
No.
That's how the whole channel is.
So funny enough, I don't remember what the title was, but it ended up leading me to non-smut, which should have a
Mm.
touch of smut in it. And that was Way of the House Husband, which
Oh,
I
yay!
really love. So
It's so
cute.
yes.
There was a surprise racism that popped up in the
Oh,
animated version on Netflix.
oh, okay.
I
I
think it
get
was like the Black Neighbor or something like that. Because every time you get a
I,
surprise racism
yeah.
every once in a
I don't
while,
even know why I'm acting like
it's so
I'm not shocked.
listen, it
I'm
comes
not.
with the
It
territory
really
with
does.
yes.
It
Um,
really
so
does.
the my
That was
bad.
the universe saying, "Yup,
That was in the
you're
universe.
right."
It was. But it led me to that, which
Mm,
actually just made me want more of that, but with a touch of smut, like just a nice little balance.
yes, yes, yes,
So yeah, thank you because it saved me
yes.
from almost having to nuke my computer because you click on a thing and the description is one thing, and then you get to it and you're looking at the photos like, wait,
What
two
is
plus
this?
two is not four in this.
Right.
It is
So
eight.
that's one thing about like which I would say like I'm not gonna give I feel like I give the same recs all the time. Like yeah,
Yeah.
most of y'all know what my hentai recs are the ones that I have on my shelf. Um Lord, do I anyway, I'm not gonna walk over there and get it. But I'm always like I guess I'm always curious about how other people's feelings about hentai because, like, Matt, who has known me since we were 18, and I've just always been like obsessed with hentai. Like, and he's just like, that's one thing about you that is, he's like, it's low key weird. Like, he's like, I don't know why. And I'm like, listen, I don't know why either. Cause, like, I don't think there are people who like it more than I do, I'm sure.
Hmm.
But, like, that's I don't like it at a normal level. I think it's kind of like it's
The
like
way that you probably feel about it is the same way I feel about Black romance novels.
mm,
I I don't like I got like the Nook tablet or
mhm,
whatever,
mhm.
and I think I had like a $15 gift card, and there was so my Eric Jerome Dickey, Zane,
Oh
I'm
Lord.
trying to think of a few others like who else? I am blanking.
We're
Sister Soldier, because who has
yes,
not read that? Code
right.
is whenever. Anyway, that was like I'm in like junior high, high school or
Mhm.
whatever, and those are like the only authors. Unfortunately, not unfortunately, but
But
my very limited because I'm getting books from friends. Like
right.
I'm
And
not.
we're kids.
Yeah,
Like
like I didn't know. Yeah, so I didn't know, and by the time I got the Nook, I'm like in college by then,
mhm,
and there were a host of other like authors I didn't know existed.
mhm.
I should have known existed, like Beverly Jenkins,
I was
who
just about to
proved to me,
mention,
I mean,
yes.
that showed me that, hey, like there are Black historical romances that can take place. And guess what? We don't really have to lean into the drama like that. Can we have a little
Yes.
sprinkle of, some stress here and there? Absolutely. But a story that can be told that is not centered in whiteness in
Mhm.
some kind of
Right.
way. And
I
by that,
love
not even like a love interest when I say that, but I mean centered in just white people interrupting
right.
black
And being
folks.
in people's business. Like it's
Yes.
I love like the fact that she tends to have like the characters tend to be in like very like black
Yeah,
towns. In
communities.
like black
Yes.
communities. Because
Uh-huh.
listen, when I tell you I am a huge romance fan. Like romance is my favorite genre, hands down. Comics, novel, like all of it. I love
Yeah.
romance. I've been reading romance since I was a kid. I shouldn't have been reading romance, but I
Hey.
was. And I remember when I first discovered Beverly Jenkins, and I was like, where was she? Like, I mean, and she's obviously there. She
Yeah.
existed, but like, I just didn't have access to her stuff until like early, like late teens, early adulthood, I guess.
Yeah,
And
same.
then I was just like, oh my gosh, like, I love it. But I
So
love,
so imagine like
right.
discovering her and then like a Brenda Jackson,
Mm,
Maureen Smith, Altanya Washington, Adrienne Burke, God rest her soul, and just all of these other like black women who are writing these stories that it's just regular everyday black women. It didn't have to be set in a particular
mhm,
town or anything like that. They're just existing, falling in love, being deserving of love, and all of that.
yeah.
Also, sex was something that was a two-way street in these books, right?
Okay.
So
Yes.
so in saying all that, like I can see why sometimes I'm just kind of like, you know what, a hentai, sure. If I can
Right.
get like a little mix between that and some romance heavy stuff, then I am
Mhm.
a happy camper.
Yes. But see, that's the thing. Like when I first started talking about hentai publicly, it was, I mean, mostly it was because I just wanted to do dumb shit on the internet. But I learned as I was doing this, I also learned that wait a minute, I could actually like learn something in this process and kind of like figure out like okay, this is hentai that I would consider recommending to a woman or one, like femme woman identifying
Hmm.
person who doesn't want to read the typical like the typical stories that you see in I call it hetero
Yes, I know
romance.
exactly what you.
Yeah,
Yes,
where
yes,
it's
there are
just like
varying degrees.
yes, and it's like the my favorite hentai um books, and there's usually like compilations, they're like usually compilation stories or what's the word, not compilation,
Would it be anthologies? I guess.
anthologies, I yeah.
Yeah.
um but my favorite ones, the women are always empowered. Like when I say empowered, not in like that, not in like a
No, no,
fake
no. I
way, but
get.
like
I.
it's a
Yes.
very like it's the sex is mutual. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Like,
Hmm.
and it can be raunchy. Even like I like NTR stuff. I love the cheating women. I love seeing women cheating on their husbands in hentai. I love it. It's my favorite thing. It is my toxic trait. I don't care. I do not care. Okay. I stand for it. And the woman is always every time it's always like well, sometimes there are the ones where she's doing it for her husband, and I don't really like that. But I love the ones where she's just like, you know what?
I'm tired. I'm
I'm
going
tired.
elsewhere,
I'm
and yeah.
tired. I love it. I just wow. See, I'm over here. I mean, Oh, everyone already. I act like I don't talk about this on Twitter literally every day. I'm
But you
always
know what?
screaming.
Has been great to see you talk about those things on
Mm,
Twitter, as long as and other Black women who are into manga and anime, because
mhm,
like for a while my relationship with anime was still very, I don't know, like male centered, because I just had like my brothers to talk about it with.
mhm,
And when I was at school, usually it was just the guys that were just kind of into it. And I
mhm.
was endure dealing with them and talking to them after a while. So,
Listen, I don't
which
want to talk to no anim.
I
Anyway.
just, yeah. So anyway, it's just been nice. And not that I felt like I was ever the only Black woman who was into anime. I was just like,
Mhm.
we're just not, I just don't know anybody in
Yeah,
where I am. And
right.
it's funny because some friends that were into anime when we were younger
Mhm,
are now, because they've been introduced to animes that they didn't even think they would be, that they didn't
mhm,
have access to or didn't exist.
right.
What's the card game one?
Uh,
Starts with a
Yu-Gi-Oh?
K? No,
Oh,
no, no.
no.
Well, Yu-Gi-Oh, which definitely,
A
yeah, that
card,
was
not card cat. No, with the
no, and it isn't just card games. They're just doing all kind of gambling. It's at the high school.
yeah, uh, with they have the red
Yes.
school uniforms.
Yes.
Kaka, kuda,
Something like that. Anyway, a friend that called me up and was like, this was pretty like intense. I'm like, yeah, there is an anime for everyone.
mhm.
Space Dandy, which is one of my favorite animes.
Kakegurui.
I
Yeah. Thank you, Jen. I'm so sorry. Okay. Wow.
I'm terrible with names,
I
all of
struggled.
them. But Space Dandy is one that I love
Oh
because
gosh.
of just a lot of the pop culture stuff that pops up in it, and it's
Hmm.
dealing with existential crisis at different points in times, and it's just one of those
Right.
animes that I adore.
I mean, it is. It's like I like what you said about the access because I grew up. I mean, I'm from Oklahoma,
Hmm.
and I grew up. Or I spent most of my childhood in like a rural area, and so like, and I didn't grow up with like cable and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
like, I only got glimpses of like Sailor Moon or like Dragon
Hmm.
Ball Z, or like if I went to like a family member's house or a friend's house who had, who had cable, I might get to pick up like an or like an episode or something. So like
Yeah.
I was a gamer in like high school, and I played Yu-Gi-Oh.
I
um
I play Pokemon, and
yeah,
yes, listen, Digimon, my shit. Yes, you don't
right.
have to explain. Yes.
But like it wasn't until I was in my early adulthood that I really started that I was able to get into manga and anime, because I had more access, a little more
Yeah.
access. I mean, it was back when Crunchyroll was.
Yes,
Mhm.
but access
But
nonetheless.
access nonetheless. And so whenever I see people online sometimes, usually skin folk, and they'll be like, you didn't watch it, like, and it's just like, no, because I wasn't rich and had cable, so I
Yeah,
don't.
because like if you, because but you're right though. Like if you didn't have cable, then you didn't have access to
Yeah,
Toonami. So
right,
like that
exactly.
just,
So I'm just like, how.
and the video store only had oh so much, and
And we didn't even have a video
unfortunately,
store in my town. We had
see,
to drive 30 minutes. And
right.
let me tell you what my mama was not finna do. So so it's just like, I literally like not until I was a young adult. And then I was still poor because we had a baby and stuff. And so
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? Y'all chill. Like just because I haven't seen what is it that okay, listen, this is gonna get me canceled, but wait,
What?
our people really seem to like is it Yu Yu Hashiko? Is that how Yu Yu Hashiko? I've
Don't
never
have me
seen
out here
it.
embarrass myself. And that was actually the very first anime I ever watched. But
I've never
yes.
seen it because I didn't have access
Also,
to it.
Toonami, that's where I
Mm,
saw it for the first time. So I
see,
mean,
I mean,
Sailor Moon, I didn't
I saw two
even though
episodes
I see
as a kid.
and the same thing for me, I didn't see enough of it to I don't know, like latch on to. And I think Dragon Ball, the only reason why
Mm.
that became a thing is because I happened to, I think it was the fight when Cell showed up. I got like right there when that arc was getting ready to take off. And I was like, man, this is like,
This
this is
is
a lot of drama, right? Just to build up to this one fight. And I was hooked in. And it's
mm-hmm.
funny because I had seen Dragon Ball prior to that. Like because it used to come on like I think Fox
Mm.
after either on Saturday mornings after all the other cartoons went off and right after Gladiator Warriors, whatever that show was called, you would get American Gladiators,
I used listen.
Dragon Ball. Yeah, like Dragon Ball would, I think you would get like one or two anime
Mm-hmm.
shows. And at the time I was like, why does a little kid have a tail? What is going on? And I was not really interested at the time. And then years later, watching Toonami and seeing Dragon Ball Z, and I was
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, I
Right.
get
See,
it.
I remember 4 Kids, and I'm pretty sure
Yes, I remember Four
that's
Kids too.
yeah, because that's where
Yeah.
all like now people are like, ooh, the translations.
Wait, because
Which,
Four Kids also had I think Hello Kitty, and it was some
yeah, I
other
think so. Yeah,
yeah.
it was like a bunch of just like kind of not random, but just like it. I don't think it had like a cohesive
No, I just like remember
feel.
seeing random stuff. I mean, it might have had a
Yeah.
cohesive thing, and then I only caught it at a random
Right.
moment.
Which also, because you know what I wasn't allowed to do also? Watch a whole bunch of TV.
Ah,
I
see,
lived out in
that's
the
cutting into time.
country and we were working. Like, listen, let's not talk about I missed out. But like it wasn't until like college, like um so like yeah, late teens when I was
Hmm.
really introduced to anime. Actually, my husband introduced me to um what's it? Trigun and
Hmm.
Cowboy Bebop and Samurai Champloo, which is kind of like a lot of people's like
Yeah,
and so that's kind of that was my entry into like really sitting down and like watching like full,
yeah,
the full anime series. I was like, these are dope. But those were like that's not it's not a Sailor Moon because you know what? Put any. Let me stop right there because I do not need to be canceled by the Moonies. I love the Moonies. I love y'all so much, but so yeah. Anyway, we say all of this to say that comics are amazing. Stephanie is amazing.
thank
I
you.
will miss you when when you inevitably take a break from
Oh, you
Twitter
mean like
again.
just oh,
Like
I plan the plan is
immediately,
to leave the site forever.
like I already
The moment
know.
I can do that, I mean, I will miss you all. You can find me on
Yes.
Twitter and TikTok, but I'm gone. And it's not even I don't know, like it's just so easy to get sucked up
Mm,
into everything that's going on the timeline, whether discourse or just
yep. Or
reading through everything.
internalizing the BS.
Yeah,
It's exhausting
it
and
is, and it keeps me up at night.
yep.
Sometimes I'm thinking about something that I
Can't
as
even do
I'm like
anything about.
creating things now, I'm like, well, shit, did I fuck that up? Or
Mm,
you know what I mean? Like just stuff like
yeah.
that. And it can be scary and make you freeze up when you're in front of the
Hmm.
computer. So I'm just kind of like the best way for me to prevent some of that from happening is just
Hmm.
to disconnect and let things be what
Yeah.
they are.
I think I mean, that is a plan for me. I mean, I'm sure people who have been with my, like, whatever it is I do on this internet for a while, they be knowing I will dip.
Yeah.
I will, I will dip for like weeks and then come back and be like,
Like
as if
nothing ever
nothing,
happened.
like, I don't
Yes.
explain myself. I just like, okay, I'm back. Let's get into it because listen, ain't nobody, and I feel, and you're a Taurus, aren't you?
No, I'm a
Oh,
Gemini.
you're a Gemini because you're. We both have
Yeah.
we both because wait, you're a May baby,
Hmm.
but late May, like after. Okay,
Yeah, yeah, May 22nd.
yes, okay,
Hmm.
okay. So that
It
makes
explains
sense.
a lot, I'm sure.
That
Yes.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Yes, it does. I like Gemini's. My daddy is a Gemini. Um, he's a
Yeah, we're
June
not
Gemini
bad.
though.
We're not bad. It's
No,
just sometimes we make folks think about things a little bit differently than maybe they want to.
exactly. Well, no, I
And
love it.
yeah.
I personally love it. And I think that's why you do so well on social media.
Sometimes I think back and I'm just like, how am I even navigating social media? The earlier this week, I saw like I had 28,000 followers, and I'm like,
You're like, where
what the
did that
fuck?
come from? It's deserved. I mean, well, you know what? Let me not say that because, okay, I feel like when I say that someone deserves something, it implies that it's like
No,
what
I
you
get what you
want.
mean, though.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, but
Mhm.
you don't have to want that because that's like
No, I
honestly,
mean, I'm not going to sit here and act like, having a following like that isn't helpful in some kind of capacity
yeah,
because, like, it
it's
is. By
scary.
post work, it gets,
Hmm.
people see it, but the other stuff that comes with it is just kind of,
Yes,
I could
it's
do without it.
right. And I haven't had to deal with really anything like that because I've managed to stay very small. I think because
Bless.
I chose manga and don't know, there's five of us reading manga, so like
It's not. I've joined you
it's
all. I have joined you all. JoJo is the reason why I have become a regular
stop
manga reader.
because I had been avoiding JoJo's for so long just out of
Mhm.
spite, just because people would be like, you should look at it, you should watch it, you should read it. I'm
That's
like,
the thing
no.
for me.
And then I
But
sat down and watched some of it with Matt,
yeah,
and I was like, this is great. This is so stupid, and I love it.
yeah. I'm like, any anime they use Jodeci, Freak Me Baby, and season. I mean that it was made for
It's
me.
so
That's already what I've been doing with my videos and my edits. So how could I not love
it
something
is
like
the
that?
most. I actually Matt was like, "Hey, do you want to watch?" He never asked me if I want to watch anime with him because he's not really into anime like like
Yeah,
I am or whatever. But he was just like, "Do you want to watch JoJo's?" I was like, "Dang, it has us in a chokehold because
it
it's
does.
so funny. It's just so good."
Because part four
We're
just hit
behind though.
Netflix,
See,
and
that's
I was
why I need
like,
to catch up.
I'm just gonna watch it all over again.
I need to I need to catch up. I just don't know if I want to read the manga though because like it's a lot.
It
And
is
if
a
I
lot.
do, I would have to do it digitally because I don't
Yes,
want to if y'all I'm trying to hide, but I'm like
I know
getting
it's
rid of
okay.
stuff back
You
there.
can't
So
see the collection of comics that I have, so it's
yeah.
just
So I'm
they are
like
in storage right now because it's
mm.
just too much.
I'm definitely like okay, see this is the thing is like I've seen people
Absolutely,
talk,
I can't
yes, and
wait.
I'm just like, I want. So
Yeah,
I'm like, let me get into this and so that I can, when it's time, I can really know what's going on and know
yeah,
you know what I mean? Because it's wonderful. But you know what, y'all? I think we've talked about I mean, there's
we
so much
have. This
more.
has been great.
Yes, I've honestly there's so much more that we could talk about, but listen, y'all, we're in our 30s and we are
I'm
moms.
already. I'm
Listen,
like,
and yes, and Steph had just said that she was literally, can we just, I would like for everyone to just like thank her so much because she's
oh
literally
no.
in the throes of writing. She was
It's okay.
still
It's
came on here. So
yes. I needed the break probably anyway. Just kind of get out
yes.
of it because when I get in the zone and then I'll look back at what I was writing, I was like, well, now what the hell is going on here? And then go back and kind of tweak some things. But no, thank you for the break. I needed it.
Yeah, thank you for
So
hanging out with
yeah,
me. This was so much fun. I've been so like just jazzed. I've been I've been telling everyone that people are like, "Girl, we're not on Twitter. Like we don't even
we
know.
don't know who that
We
is.
don't know." I'm just like, it doesn't matter. I know. So but
No,
thank
I
y'all.
appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for being here.
Yeah.
And I'm going to have all of Steph's information in the description box tonight. Okay, this will happen. It will happen. I'm going to do it. I promise. Thank you all so much for being here
Yeah,
and
thank you all.
asking
And thank you for asking
questions.
questions.
Yeah, That was awesome. Thanks for interacting with us. This has been so much fun. I know that y'all miss the lives, and I do plan to start getting back into like my normal routine. I'm not going to give any timelines because I don't make promises, but just know that
They're on the
it is
way.
in the works. Yes. So, yes. Thank y'all so much and enjoy the rest of your weekend.
All right,
Sit
bye,
down and read
y'all.
your manga. Bye.